here we are again with another haul video. That winter came on pretty abrupt. So this is what it's like when you run a bookstore in your shed in Canada. You gotta shovel your way to the shelf. I've got some new hauls. I'm gonna show you what I've got. This is a small one. This little round, I haven't gone out too much to find some stuff, but I'll show you what I've got. So starting us off, I've got a really nice little hardcover edition of The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. When I was a kid, this was the kind of little cartoon TV show was on quite a lot, and I always thought I never got it was too British for me, but in my later adult years, I actually found it to be quite adorable. This one even has like nice little color plates in it, if I can find those. They look pretty nice. So I think I found a home for this one already. But Wind in the Willows, just a nice book cover edition, but a nice little hardcover. And then another hardcover, Fantasy Wargaming by Bruce Galloway. Definitely tying into the D&D fad, or the initial influx. This one came out in '81, so kind of around the second edition era of D&D. But this one's sort of more about setting up your own fantasy series. So ties to tabletop gaming, ties to pen and paper RPGs, but just like a gorgeous little hardcover. Again, I think this is another book club edition, but the dust jacket is in awesome shape, and I'll probably find a home for this one too. Here's a fun curiosity. Armageddon Rag by George R.R. Martin. That same George R.R. Martin, so he didn't always just write Game of Thrones. He has a lot of other stuff, and this is probably the strangest one in particular. It's about the manager of a like kind of 70s proto-metal rock band, and it's sort of a murder mystery, sort of a psychedelic novel, a little bit of ties to sci-fi fantasy, but just like a strange kind of rock novel by George R. Martin. Snow Crash by Neal Stephenson. I don't know if I need to talk about this one too much, but if you're kind of trying to delve into cyberpunk and you think William Gibson's a little too heady and difficult, this one is immensely palatable, about a pizza delivering samurai computer hacker and sort of dealing with this society. The only corporations that still exist are pizza delivery places, and so it's a lot of metaverse type stuff. You might have even coined the term. Yeah, just like a kind of pulpy, really fun, easy to hammer through. So Snow Crash. So the Dao De Ching by Lao Tzu. But in this case, I don't normally carry a lot of, religion or philosophy or that kind of thing, but very curious because it was translated by Ursula K. Le Guin. So obviously if you're a sci-fi reader, you'll know that name. So pretty interesting that a sci-fi writer would translate this one. So Hops. This is exactly why I dig books all the time, because I feel like if I've exhausted all of record digging and things like that, with books and literature, you'll always be able to unearth something you've never seen, some hidden gem, whatever. I feel like this is that. This one is not going to the shed, this one's going straight to my stacks. It's a bunch of essays, particularly about the idea of alienation in society. So I think there's like racial stuff, gay stuff, even just like being angry and agitated. I don't know, it sounds strange enough, maybe dated, but even just this cover itself is so good. This is exactly why I dig books, just to find curiosities like this. So let's see. The Best Short Stories by J.G. Ballard. I've read more of his more sinister, bleak, cynical novels, sci-fi novels about society, Crash and things like that. So he's I feel like he's largely known as a sci-fi writer, but this one And I think this one kind of runs the gamut. So it has the sci-fi ones, kind of his more literary ones. He's written a lot kind of more just literary, non-sci-fi trope novels as well. This one, just a bunch of short stories. I sold this one before in the shed, so wanted to have it again. The Listeners by Jordan Tannahill. I've sold this one a couple times in the shed as well, so I wanted to restock it. Very newish contemporary stuff about a woman who kind of hears a hum in her ears and realizes it's more than tinnitus, and it's a little more sinister than that. So more stock for the shed. I've heard very good things and tend to might get this one sometime, but this is a cool one to find in the wild. William Gass's Fiction and Figures of Life. This one's sort of a more essays, literary criticism. Obviously known for being a very out there experimental writer. I've read a couple of them, but this one I haven't read. But I might just pass it on. I just fear I'm not going to get this one to the reads that quickly. But this one, very cool to find in the wild. I've never actually seen a copy of this one, so happy to pass this one on. I've got a couple of crazy ones here. I've got a couple editions of Crazy Cat and Ignatz Mouse. These ones are the Fantagraphics editions that have like the book design from Chris Ware. Gorgeous designer of graphic novels, or designed graphic novels. It is very smart, crisp lines, very sparse kind of drawings, and this is like beautiful reprints of Crazy Cat from the 20s. So often considered kind of one of the first literary comics graphic novels. I mean, I would probably give that to the Winsor McCay work prior to that, around the turn of the century. But these are just nice and gorgeous. I'm very happy to stock these. I almost want to keep them, but I'm gonna pass them on. I mean, Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Put this one in a few people's hands. Just immensely digestible sci-fi. Very cool magic use building, world building. Inevitably will become a television series that everybody will know. Everyone's waiting for that third title, so if before that drops in the trilogy, you might want to do this one if you want some digestible, good, solid fantasy. The Betrayal of Anne Frank, a cold case investigation. Kind of a woman who used to work for the CIA or something like that attempts to figure out who sold out the Frank family. I'm sure you've read The Diary of Anne Frank, so if you wanted to delve a little bit more into the story surrounding it, someone traded this into the shed, so. Copy of Anais Nin's Delta of Venus, kind of formidable, female-written erotica. So if you want something very literary, racy but literary, you can't go wrong with this. If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler by Italo Calvino. I feel like I've even talked about this on this channel already. A perpetual favorite, truly one of the things that blew my mind as a reader. Very joyful. I've heard people criticize it for being a little too gimmicky, but the gimmick is the fun. There's a lot of joy in this book, flipping between perspectives. The only contemporary novel I know that's not a choose your own adventure that's written in second person, or pieces of it are in second person, and I don't know, I found that to just be like a mind melter. I love this novel, so happy to get another copy to pass on to a friend. Can't recommend it highly enough. Just another copy of Unbearable Lightness of Being, the Czech classic. Kind of very lush and romantic, and just a very, lyrical novel, even in translation. So, Kundera's Unbearable Lightness of Being. Mysterious Skin by Scott Heim. I've seen the film, but I always try to stock as much gay lit in the shed as I can, and so I was just happy to get this one in here, and I know someone will definitely want it. The film was really affecting. I'm sure the film or the book is just as good. So, no serious game. And just another cool one to have come across in the last little bit. If you are a fan of some Canadian avant-gardes, can't go wrong with BP Nickel. So this is like a library discard edition, so I don't even know where it came from initially, but I couldn't pass it up even though it's a discard. Martyrology number 6 by BP Nickel, and weirdly enough, I had 5 in the shed as well. So if you're looking for BP Nickel's opus of kind of an experimental poem that just like went on forever, truly epic and weird and strange and inventive, BP Nickel, Martyrology 5 and 6. One more, just like this giant Marvel encyclopedia that is spectacularly big and illustrated and looks fun. I mean, grew up on all the Marvel, don't care much for the MCU because they were always 20 years late on Marvel plot lines from the books themselves. So if you actually want to delve into the good stuff of the Marvel Universe, forego the films, and the comic plot lines will be infinitely more compelling. And then related to that, because I had it in the shed, but I'll just point it out, I also have like an Avengers encyclopedia. So to go a little bit further in depth, just in Avengers lore, I've got these gigantic, beautifully color illustrated DW or DK editions that great for kids, but great for the nerddoms, and us all as well. So, holy, my coffee's already cold. I intended this to be a quick haul video. Just wanted to show you what's come in the shed in the last couple weeks. Let me know if you're interested in anything. I'll hear from you soon. I'm gonna go inside and warm up.